Class 8, welcome back to your literature class once again. Okay, children, as you know that we have been doing some of the topics of language. Now in this class we will start literature once again. Okay, the lesson 1 has already been done. Now we will start lesson number 2, that is a narrow escape. Clear, children? This lesson, before starting this lesson, I just want to ask you that what does this phrase a narrow escape mean? Okay, means what the topic says. You should know about the topic before getting to know that what is given in this story. Clear? So what does it mean, a narrow escape? Okay, it means a situation in which an accident or any unfortunate incident is avoided. Means in simple language, um, uh, it means that when you managed to save yourself from dangerous situations, okay, or any problems, any difficulties, or any troubles, okay, that means you come out safe from any unfavorable conditions. Clear, children? It means a narrow escape. Like he had a narrow escape means since a bullet, okay, came within inches of his head, it means he had been saved from being shot dead. Clear, children? So this means a narrow escape. So this story is written by Leela Majumdar, a writer of children's story. It means she has written many of the children's stories, and they all based on the likings of the children. Okay. Here in the story, this story tells us about Tapa and his experiences, okay, in a hillside, you can say house. Okay, who is Tapa, what had happened to him? Let us read out in the story. Clear? So as I told you, this story is about a young man's strange experience in hills. Clear? Who is this young man? Let us come to know. Let us find out. This happened a long time ago. It means this story took place or occurred many years ago. This happened a long time ago. I means the narrator who is narrating the story. Clear? So I did write about it back then, but I have lost the pages. It means in simple words, you can say that the memories, okay, which had happened to me, the memories are not so sharp, not so fresh to me, okay, but still I try to recall. I'm recalling all those things, all those incidents which had happened to me. The narrator is saying, means he is recalling what had happened to him. If you're wondering whether I am going to talk about a real or fictitious means imaginary, not real, okay, fictitious. He says that you must be surprised to know whether I am going to tell you the real story or some imaginary story, fictitious story, unreal stories. Okay, you must be wondering. You want to know about the story which is real or unreal. Okay, he's asking the readers. Okay, readers means you, the children. Well, if one wishes to listen to a story, how does it matter if it's either? If you want to know, if you want to listen the story, then it doesn't make any difference whether the story is real or unreal or imaginary. Clear? Real or fictitious. Clear? Is there really any difference between a cock and bull story? Cock and bull story means the story which is made up by ourselves, imaginary story, which has no real real sense. Okay, so it doesn't make any difference, he says, between a cock and bull story and an incident that is of little value now, or that incidents, it doesn't make any difference whether it's a made up story, imaginary story, or a real incident which had happened. Doesn't make any value, doesn't make any sense, because the incident of were of very small little value. Okay, So never mind, I'll only say that you hear me out first. I only just want to say, please listen to my story. So whether the story is real or unreal, real or imaginary, okay, you just listen to it. Clear? So it's better you listen to my story. Who is telling you? The narrator. Narrator is telling to the readers. Okay. As almost will know, as most will know, during the Second World War, scores of people means many people, okay, scores of people, many people, means when it is the story which happened, he's telling us about the Second World War, when Second World War took place, scared of being bombed, okay, scared, okay, of being bombed, as it was what was happening there, Second World War, had fled from, and in order to save themselves they had fled, they had moved, okay, from Calcutta to various noxious means the harmful places, okay, noxious and dangerous places means in order to save themselves they moved, they had moved to, they tried to save themselves in order, so they moved to some safe places, okay. At that time, one of my uncle's families, he's telling about his uncle's family, who the narrator is telling us about his uncle's family. What he's saying, see, at the time one of my uncle's family had been considering moving to Kurseong for a couple of months means for a few months, okay. So they had also decided to move to Kurseong, okay, it's a name of a place, I think in West, later we come to know, okay. So a small cottage at a reasonable rent was found in healthy and beautiful place. That's why they started searching a beautiful home or a good place to stay, okay. And they have found also that too in a reasonable rent, okay. And my eldest aunt, however, refused to relocate means to move to new place, to reestablish oneself, okay. Move to new place means one we have established, suppose we want to shift to other, then we are relocating ourselves. So she refused. Who refused? Eldest aunt. However, she refused to shift, okay. Relocate means move to new place, to a house that she had not known before, because she was not acquainted, she was not familiar with that place. That's why she refused to go there. Clear? Hence Tyapa, her dear grandson. That's why Tyapa. So who is Tyapa? Grandson. Okay. Who's grandson? Uncle's eldest aunt, okay, grandson, was sent on recce of the house. Recce means to get information, detailed information about an area where they have to go. Clear? So who was sent in order to get the information of all the things of the house, of the rent, everything in detail? That was Tyapa. Clear? The grandson. The obedient grandson, he was obeying what grandmother is saying. That's why it is called the obedient grandson, as you are also an obedient children to your parents, okay. Packed his woolens and thick blankets in small suitcase and set off on his journey. So from this line you can come to know it was a winter season. That's why he has packed some of the woolen and thick blankets, okay, and set off on his journey. He dropped by a landlord's office to collect the keys. So in order to get that, in order to go to that place, that cottage, he had to take the keys from the landlord, okay, because it was rental place, okay. So he was dropped off there, but was told that he would not require a key to enter the house. But at that time, when he got off to take the key, at the time he was told that the key is not required. Why? We'll come to know. The person also informed him that a postcard had been sent to the watchman. It means a watchman had been appointed there already. So the person had informed him that a postcard had been sent to the watchman, and mattresses also, okay, pillows as well as utensils had been arranged for. Means everything has been furnished there, Okay, the house has already been arranged for Tyapa and the family. He just had to meet the watchman upon his arrival in Kurseong. What he has to do? He had to meet the watchman. He had to take the keys from watchman, okay, and all the information from watchman. Okay, so the train chugged in on time. Chugged means when the train moves like huffing and puffing. So it was moving and it reached on time. Tappa got off, got down, and lugging his suitcase on his shoulder. Lugging, you can say that he started dragging. Okay, he dragged his suitcase, okay, on his shoulder. He took that is Bhau Hill Road to his destination. It's a name of a road, okay, and he took that road and to reach his destination. The landscape means the scenery, okay, sightseeing. It was so beautiful, lovely, with serpentine road. And when you move to Mussoorie, when you have usually gone there, when you go to Mussoorie, you come across many of the twisted roads, serpentine, that is called roads, okay, like zigzag, clear. And corner shops selling rice, lentils, potatoes, salt, and essential stationaries, clear. The corner shops where one can get all the things which one requires, clear. So halfway down was a small lane to the right. Tappa took a turn and there stood before him an elegant means beautiful, that is picture-shack. It's not picturesque. Side by side, try to learn the pronunciation also. That is picture-shack. Picture-shack means beautiful, pretty, you can say. Okay, house, the only one in that area, and it was only one beautiful, pretty house of that area. It had a red tin roof, green doors and windows, a red wooden gate. He pushed the gate, it creaked open. Creaked sound it comes, okay, and it opened. He walked inside and shouted out for the watchman. He didn't meet watchman when he entered, so he shouted for the watchman as he wanted to get inside. He wanted to take the keys also. He wanted to know other things detailed about the house also. There was no response. A few minutes later, he called out again, but the watchman didn't come. A few minutes later, he shouted again. No one came. Tappa was an impatient man. Impatient means not able to stay calm. Okay, not able to wait for a longer time. Okay, he went ahead, pushed open the glass door, and went in. As it was already told about him that he was an impatient man, he couldn't wait for long, so he went ahead, pushed open the glass door, and went in. The hall was long. When he entered, he found that the hall was long, okay, quite spacious area, you can say. A mat made of dried coconut shell lay on the floor, nicely arranged. There were sofas, tables, and even mirrored rack to hang hats and umbrellas. Means racks were there in order to hang hats and umbrellas. Tappa played with switches and bedroom lit up. He switched on the lights and all. Okay, he turned the taps in the bathrooms and there was water. When he turned the taps on and the water was there, he found everything, essential things were there. Okay, everything in the house seemed to be working just fine. Everything in the house was in good condition, okay, and everything was working. It means it was a good house, fully furnished house. The local, that is local, one who lives in that area called local, and the place something happens, that is local, okay, was perfect too. Okay, local, place or locality, the place where, okay, was perfect. Tappa concluded that they could live here for 6 or 7 months at great ease. Great ease means easily. They can stay there easily. He decided to return home the very next morning. So after going through each and everything, he satisfied himself and he decided that he would go from there the next morning. Clear, children? Now you can see in the picture also, that is the scene or that is the picture of or a portrait of house has been given. Please read this chapter. Okay. Suddenly started cats and dogs very heavily. Cats and dogs, it doesn't mean that the cats and dogs they're just falling down. It means cats and dogs, it is raining. Cats and dogs means it is raining so heavily, as it common in any hilly area. Okay. The sky, the mountains, and the valley was suddenly engulfed by a thick fog, means uncertain climate. Okay, at any time you can see the foggy area or the clouded. Okay, thick fog everywhere. Okay, surrounded. Then one could not tell whether it was still day or night. It sometimes it becomes so dark that one cannot say whether it's a day or night. Had swiftly fallen over the hills. It was at this time that someone started pounding on the door, knocking on the door. Clear? So children, up to here only. It seems to be a very interesting story. So please read this, go through this, underline the difficult words. Okay, and I will give the questions from in between the chapters. So please and even to write the difficult meanings of the words. So please go through them. Clear, children? And any problem you can ask.